So, hello viewers, today I am making a short video about tires.
We will start with a diagnosis of your tires. Do you need new ones? Then choosing the right tire, recognizing tread patterns, fuel efficiency, noise, measurements and tire gradings. Then how to ensure proper fitment of your new tires. And finally regular maintenance to ensure that you get the most out of them. Part 1. Do you need new tires?
So, when to replace your tires? Well, the first answer is about tread wear. If the treads are almost gone, you should replace the tires. But just how much should the tire be worn before you make the replacement? Well, you have to look at your local law. In Portugal, the minimum limit for trucks is 1 millimeter tread depth, and for light cars such as this 1998 Toyota Corolla is 2 millimeters. So, how can you measure the tread? Well, you can go to your tire shop and ask for a measuring device. They will even give it to you. Sometimes there are those plastic measuring things that tire brands will often leave at the tire shops for promotional purposes. You can ask for one of these at your local tire shop. If not, if you have a caliper like mine, you can use the little tip and then place the tip in the middle of the thread and then adjust this so that the tip goes in like so, and then you can measure the depth still on your tires. In this case it's it's 7 millimeters thread depth. These tires had a 8 millimeter thread at the time when I bought them. They've made approximately 11,000 kilometers, so it's wearing quite nicely. Tire manufacturers took care of this for not requiring people to be always measuring their tires. They decided to put these match marks on the tires, so that when the tread wear goes all the way into the mark, well, the tire is ready to be replaced. To illustrate the purpose of these match marks, I took out my spare tire, and this does not need to be a new tire, of course, so I have a rather older one. And you can see the three match marks on the threads. I still have like 1 millimeter left before the thread ends, so this is perfectly okay for a spare tire. The point is, when there is no distinction between the thread and the marks, the tire is under legal limit and should be replaced. It is very important to check the age of the tire, because a tire up to 2 years old, at least in Portugal, can be sold as a new tire. And in cases where you have a car stored for a long time and only do a few miles every year, like my AE86, you want to buy the freshest tire you can get, because that will be the main factor for the for having to replace the tires, because I am guessing that I will not use the whole thread wear in the reasonable in the normal lifespan of a tire. Check the local law in your country to see what the max age of the tire is. In Portugal we have no limits like so. In your country you may have them. But how to check the age of a tire? In this tire you look for a mark. It's usually like an oval mark, and it's usually the last four digits of a very long serial number. For example, you have all these letters, and then you have 0, 7, 10 marks. Well, in this case it indicates that this tire was manufactured in the 7th week of 2010. For this tire you can see that it was manufactured in the 42nd week of 2011. As for the tires I recently put in the AE86, you can see they were manufactured in the 22nd week of 2013, so very new tires indeed.
Part 2. choosing a new tire.
And what does the series of numbers mean? Well, you can look at the size of the tire by looking at these, looking for these three numbers. You see, 195 will be the width of the tire. Will be width of this surface here. 195 will be this width here. 55 will be the percentage of the width that makes up the sidewall height. For example, if you had a 195 55, this, which is this tire, the sidewall is like this. If you have a 195 45 R15, for example, the width will be slimmer, so we'll have a thinner sidewall, more sporty look. For the final number, it is the diameter of your wheel in inches. The larger this is, the larger will be your wheel. So when going to the tire shop, they will always ask you for these three values. The tires I bought for the AE86 are 185 width, a slimmer tire on the wall, 60, a higher percentage of height as I want more comfort in this car, 14 width as the rims are smaller in diameter as my Corolla G6 are. Also the rating, which is an H rating.
You can see in this table the different speed ratings for all the tires. The tires I just showed you, more economical, are H rated at 210 kph. Then the V, more sports oriented, are rated at 240 km per hour. A word on asymmetric and directional tires.
Nowadays most tires are designed to be installed only one way. For example, this tire has with this V-shaped pattern can only be installed with the V turned, with the tip of the V turned toward the front. This is called a directional tire. Rotation is usually signaled in the sidewall of the tire. You will see a mark called rotation, which indicates that the tire will have to rotate this way. It's simple. Here you can see the marks stating outside. As this tire is asymmetric, you have different patterns on the outside part than on the inside. Using asymmetric or directional tires can change your options when rotating the tires. Rotation is made up mainly to ensure a uniform spending of the tires, not for you to having to replace the tires on axle and keeping the other one without replacing. Well, asymmetrical tires limit my chances of rotating the tires. For example, as the front tire is marked outside, if I wanted to put that tire on the back axle but on the other side, it would not be correct, because the outside would be installed in the rim towards the inside of the car. So different wear on this on the tire. For example, if I had a tire that was wearing more on the outside and I wanted to rebalance this switch to spend the inside of the tire, it would not be possible because of the asymmetrical pattern of the tire. Nowadays nearly all tires are asymmetrical and or directional, so you will be limited to moving the tires from the front to the back in sets of two, meaning you will only be able to exchange the tires in one axle to the other. So the possibilities of crisscrossing the tires to even out the wear on different sides of the tire, like I explained you, are quite limited. So if you want to balance the tires and crisscross them, you have to look for tires that are not asymmetrical or directional.
Now let's take a look at the tire ratings.
Recently you have a standardized classification
First, fuel efficiency on the left, then wet braking distance on the right, and then the noise level of the tire.
Is it worth it to invest a bit more in the tire for a better fuel efficiency? Well, it depends on your goal.
This diagram was taken from the Nokian manufacturer's website, and you can see the difference between all the marks in the tires. We can see that the A is the reference point, and then the increase in fuel that will occur as the grade of the tire gets worse. You can see a clear difference from the A to G in fuel consumption, which amounts to more than half a liter per 100 kilometers.
But you also have to take into account another aspect. I've been talking with some shops that sell tires, and they say that it's not just looking at the marks. For example, fuel efficiency is an example of this, because a tire that has less rolling resistance, that will save you fuel, will not have the same softness and the same comfort and adherence to the road as a tire that is fully oriented towards ecological purposes only. So you may buy a tire that is too plasticky. That's what the term that they use. It's not a soft rubber. It's more like a hard plastic compound. It will sacrifice some performance and some comfort in exchange for a better fuel efficiency. So I recommend that you take all this into account if you do not want to have a rough ride in your new tires. Also depends on your goal, because if you want a snappy response and if you like to take turns fast, you may want to get a softer rubber compound that will have a worse mark in fuel consumption.
Here you can see Toyo R888s, which are a very used track tire, and you can see the fuel efficiency marks are quite bad.
Another important mark will be the wet braking distance. That's what they put in the labels of the tires. And the wet braking distance ranges also from G to A being the best.
This chart shows the difference between the different tires in braking in wet from the 50 miles per hour until the full stop. This is very important because it can mean the difference between hitting somebody or not, for example, as well as an obstacle. So the difference between an A marked tire and a G marked tire will be 18 meters of stopping distance. That's a lot.
The explanation that was given to me about this is that rubber is always evolving, and they are always making new compounds to make the wet braking distance better, and also fuel efficiency. Third mark will be noise, rolling noise. Well, nobody likes noise, and nowadays there is a rule that specifies the maximum rolling noise for a tire, and you will see that in the classification there are 3 levels. You will see the 3 waves on the icon for the efficiency. They range from 1 wave for the quietest tire to 3 waves for the loudest one. A rolling noise of 69 versus a tire that will have a rolling noise of 72, the audible noise will actually be double. That's a very important aspect to have in mind, because when you are rolling down the road, you will notice the rolling tire noise, and it will be quite annoying. Some tires are very, very noisy. They look like broken bearings in the road, but actually it's the tire that's making all that noise. For example, the European Union specifies maximum noise levels for your tires, and they will have to comply, or else the car will not be on the road. Well, that's what he's been stating. What is being stated by tire manufacturers, but you know their goal. They're always trying to sell more tires and more expensive ones. So take into account the money they cost, and if you can get a quieter tire, get it. There is a lot of difference between 69 decibels and 72 decibels. Now, the more subjective part of this analysis, which is when you look at the tire, what does the tread tell you? Well, you can see, for example, in this tire, this has a a V-shaped pattern, and well, what this does is it increases the grip of the tire on the surface of the road. How does the tire grip the road? Well, the road, when the tire presses against the road, the these grooves, that's the importance of the tread. These grooves, they break apart and then they come together as the wire grips the road. So the tire is constantly gripping like so. Imagine my fingers are the threads, and when the tire goes against the road, it presses and the threads open up. And then when the force of the tire comes into full contact with the road, they grip again. So they are always doing this all over the surface of the road. And in the case of a tire that has a V-shaped pattern, the grip will also occur diagonally. That's why the V-shaped pattern is usually better. Of course, this does not account for better rubber quality, because a V-shaped pattern with a bad rubber quality will be bad just the same. That's the first aspect, so about V-shaped patterns, because they may look good but they may not be the best solution for you depending on your goal. For example, if you want a very good fuel economy, you will see that V-shaped pattern tires will not have the best marks. That's the pattern. Now, when looking at the ribs, you see this center rib. This center rib is marked by the Hankook manufacturer, which is the people that made this tire, as something that will enhance the feeling of the road that the driver will receive when driving the car, equipped with these tires. So the center rib is what gives you driving feedback. Then you have the side ribs. These give you lateral grip. Of course, when you are cornering hard, this will help you get a better grip on the road, and also prevent sidewall compression, which occurs when you are hard cornering. This tire is marketed as a ultra high performance tire by Hankook. These are efficiency oriented tires from Dunlop. They are the Dunlop Blue Response tires, a rather new model by Dunlop. And you can see the very large difference between this tire and the one I just showed you, which is on my other car. In the other case, we had a V-shaped pattern and a center rib on the tire. In this case, we have larger sidewalls. They have removed the middle rib, so according to Hankook, the feeling on the wheel, the precise steering that will have those tires will have is not present. Is not as present in this one. However, in this case, we have three large threads that will help with the noise. It's a very quiet tire. I have driven this in the highway and it's very good. It's actually better than my former tires. No V-shape means less grip, but lower noise and better efficiency, as the tire will not grip as much on the road on the straight, on the rolling resistance. So that you know, this tire is rated at C in consumption, which is a compromise between a very consuming tire but very gripping also, like the V-shaped ones I just showed you, and a very economy oriented tire with very less grip on the dry. As for the braking distance, these tires are very good. They have marks of B in the scale from A to G on the wet braking distance, so I thought they would be quite a good compromise.
What to do after you purchase your tires?
Wheel balancing is made by placing these weights on the inside of the rim or on the outside, but in this case it's a special rim. It's an alloy, lightweight alloy, and they put this on a special machine that rotates the wheel and tells them exactly in the wheel surface should they place the weights in order for the wheel to become balanced and not to jerk the wheel around at high speed. It's very important to check for steering wheel vibration when you first install the tires, because they will calibrate the tires, they will balance them like I showed you with those weights. But even when you put new tires in, they may adjust to the rim and you feel a slight vibration when you are driving at 100 kilometers per hour or higher. I had it on the AE86. At first I was a bit worried that it might be some mechanical issue, but I took it back to the tire shop. They took out the wheels, they rebalanced them, and as the tire had already adjusted to the rim, since it was for new tires, it resolved the problem, and I'm very happy with the tires. Usually when you install new tires, it's also very important to have your wheel aligned, the steering aligned, because it will prevent uneven wear on the tire. It's no point in putting new tires if your steering is not correctly calibrated, and you will wear more on one side than on the other, and will have to replace the tires prematurely. Periodically check for the pressure of the tires. Ask in the tire shop what is the recommended pressure for your car, or actually you can browse around the web and look for the pressure for your tire. Usually you use your car's model, and usually lighter cars like the AE86 will have lower tire pressures. For example, this Toyota Corolla G6R weighs around 1,300 kilograms, so this has a tire pressure of 2.2 on all the wheels. The A86, for example, which weighs much less, weighs approximately 1,000 kilograms, will have tire pressures of around 2.0 or 1.9, depending on your goal and the cargo you are transporting. For example, if you have higher loads on your car and on the back, for example, if you are always carrying 3 people in the back and a full trunk, you may decide to increase slightly the tire pressure, like 0.1 bar for these cases. If you like the video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Maybe subscribe to the channel if you want to receive many more automotive videos from me. Well, drop me a comment. Tell me what were your favorite tires and why.